The Astros are sort of in a situation that they haven't had to face in the better part of a decade. In this 7-year run, this team really hasn't had to face this sort of adversity and challenges since they started it. That being the injury bug. Now, no matter who you are, no matter how good your strength and conditioning is, no matter how good your franchise's track record of staying healthy in a regular or postseason is, the injury bug comes for everybody. No team is safe from it, no matter what sport it is. And this is the season that the Astros have finally been bitten by the injury bug. Now, it started last season with Michael Brantley in his shoulder surgery. But then in the World Baseball Classic, Altuve got his thumb broken by a fastball up and in on him. And then finally in spring training, Lance McCullers Jr. was scratched from his first start. So going into the season, you're already down a starting pitcher and you're down 2 big bats in your lineup. But hey, no big deal, right? The starting rotation has plenty of depth in it to survive Lance McCullers Jr.'s absence. The lineup has more than enough quality at bats in it for it to stay afloat until Altuve and Brantley get back, right? In both senses, correct. Both of those statements are true. We have the depth at each end to survive these absences. Well, of course, that was before Chas McCormick's injury, Luis Garcia, and Jose Urquidy's injuries. Chas McCormick, just 2 weeks into the season, goes out of the lineup with some back soreness and has been out ever since. But hey, that's okay, because at the end of the day, you have guys like Mauricio Dubon and Corey Julks stepping up to fill in those shoes. And the Astros lineup has been okay since then. But here's where it gets a little scary and a little dangerous for this Astros team this year. In Jose Urquidy's last start versus the Phillies, he went 5 2/3 before he got pulled for shoulder soreness. And as a pitcher, you never want to hear those words, shoulder soreness. But it gets worse for this Astros team. Because the very next day, and the luck couldn't be any worse for the Astros right now, Luis Garcia, the Cutter King, gets pulled after 8 pitches. The reason Luis was pulled is for right elbow discomfort. And usually this is probably the scariest injury for a pitcher that they could have. This injury could allude to the scariest thing that could happen to a pitcher, which is the Tommy John surgery. Now, currently, Luis Garcia has been placed on the 15-day IL, and we're awaiting back the MRI results from his MRI scan he had earlier today. And so here's the intriguing thing for the Astros in this starting rotation right now. They have a few options in what they can do to add some depth back into that starting rotation until these guys get back. One is, when Lance McCullers Jr. gets back, they're going to need at least one more arm for that starting rotation. They can either call up a guy like JP France or Forrest Whitley from the minors, or they can go the other route, which is the open market, free agency. Now, there isn't really a whole lot of talent or arms out there that the Astros would probably be interested in the open market, to be honest with you. But there is one guy that was just cut from Arizona a few weeks ago in the name of Madison Bumgarner. Now, obviously, there hasn't been anything to come out officially stating that the Astros were looking at Madison Bumgarner, but I could see them going out and kicking the tires on him, seeing what he's got left in his tank. You have a proven pitcher who's one of the most clutch postseason performers we've ever seen in the game of baseball, who that if he can go out there and just give you 100 innings this season with the sub-4 ERA, you'll be more than happy with that. But the name of the game for the Astros right now is try and find guys that can create outs and eat innings for you. Because the last thing you want to do if you're any organization in Major League Baseball hoping to contend for a world title every single season is put an exorbitant amount of innings onto your bullpen. You want to try and keep your bullpen as fresh as you can throughout the season. So when you get into October, they aren't gassed. They aren't out of gas. They aren't out of breath. Now, the starting 9 will be okay. This lineup will eventually get back to full force, and a force it'll be. But for the foreseeable future, the starting rotation is going to be limping around. It may get to be where every 5th day is a bullpen day for the Astros, and that is just something that I would love to see this club avoid at all costs if possible. Now, at the end of the day, I think this team will be okay. I think they'll be able to handle and survive these injuries, but another hit to the starting rotation or another few hits to this lineup, and the season may be in jeopardy. But this is going to be an ultimate test for the Astros, and not just the players, but the front office, to see how this front office responds and reacts to these sort of injuries. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Are you worried about the Astros season being in jeopardy, or are you just fine? Are you relaxing? Are you chilling out? Let me know in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, go and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, because I have plenty more baseball content like this, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios, mis amigos!